Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. Magic Origins pre-release is pretty much a day away. Hype! Which means that I'm here to bring you our pre-release guide. Need to know something about the pre-release? You came to the right place. If you enjoy videos like this, please hit the like button every time you do it. Baby smiles! Let's do this. We'll begin with an overview of what you should expect when you show up to the event. The first thing you'll need to do is choose a color. This is going to decide which Planeswalker you choose to follow, or in other words, which pre-release box you'll get. Each box consists of 6 packs of Magic Origins and a 7-card seeded pack. This is where your choice becomes important. This seeded pack is going to be full of cards of your chosen color, ensuring that you'll at least get some playables in that color. In addition, you'll get a pseudo-random pre-release foil promo of a rare in your color. This list is not made public, and we don't know which cards you can get in foil, but it has been confirmed that the seeded packs can contain Planeswalkers, so that's cool. You'll also get a neat insert telling you the story of your chosen Planeswalker. The little things are cool. Lastly, the box will contain a 20-sided Magic Origins die, par for the course. Now that you have your 6 packs and your seeded pack, what do? Well, this event is a sealed deck event. That means that you'll open all your packs and then build the best deck you can out of what you have in front of you. You can't bring any outside cards into the event at all. You have to use what you open in your box and nothing more. Your deck also must be at least 40 cards. In most limited events, a 40-card deck size is ideal. You'll want around 17 or 18 lands and 22 or 23 non-land cards. You can go over 40 cards, but I wouldn't suggest it. You want to get to your best stuff as soon as possible, trust me. Once you're done building, you're ready to babble. Alright, so you know what to do basically. Now let's talk about how to decide on your color. This is the question that stops most players in their tracks. I'm here to help you with that. As usual, we'll start with white. It's important to remember that you do get a seeded pack, so looking at the rares and mythics in each color is more important than it normally would be in limited. White has one of the strongest cards in the entire set with Archangel of Ties. An absolute beast. If you pull this card, I'm not sure how anyone will stop you. Besides the Angel, you also have great options in Gideon's Phalanx, Hix's Prison Warden, Kytheon's Irregulars, and Tragic Arrogance. When I say great options, I mean stellar options. White brings some incredibly strong limited rares to the table. This includes Gideon himself. The problem is that there's a gamble here. You could get Gideon's Phalanx, for example, or, you could get Hallowed Moonlight. We have no idea, but all colors are going to bring this kind of gamble. Just figured I'd remind you. No one wants to open a sealed pool and see a Starfield of Nyx. Just saying. As for the rest of the color, it's definitely going back to its roots. White used to be a color that suppressed and tapped down the opponent. Yeah, it's doing that again in a big way. A Crow and Jailer, Grasp of the Hieromancer, Heavy Infantry, Swift Reckoning. These are just some of the cards in the color that deal with tapping or care about tapped creatures. Besides the tapping sub-theme, you can expect a bunch of small creatures with renown or some other type of relevant ability. Since this color is on theme for Gideon, it shouldn't surprise you that it's filled with soldiers and ways to make soldiers bigger. There are a few bomb cards, but for the most part, you're looking to go wide with white in the pre-release. Holy crap, blue. I've never seen a color with more hit-or-miss rares ever. If you like coin flips, then go with blue for the pre-release. Your seeded pack could have Alhammerit, which would be awesome. It could also have Willbreaker, which would not be awesome. It could have Disciple of the Ring, which would, be amazing. Or it could have Displacement Wave, a horribly awkward card that most of the time is dead in your hand. You get my point. If you go with blue, you're getting an awesome promo or complete garbage. It's honestly a 50-50 split, so good luck. I'm usually the biggest blue fanboy, but unlike white, there is barely any cohesion in the color. You've got weird filler cards like Fairy Miscreant, Maritime Guard, and Nivix Barrier. There is a subtle artifact sub-theme, but nothing too impactful unless you go all in on a red-blue artifacts deck. I wouldn't say Aspiring Aeronaut, Artificer's Epiphany, and Whirler Rogue are enough to really enable an entire strategy. Although Whirler Rogue is amazing in anything just on its own merit, so, play that card. Listen. My point is that in blue, this time around, you're going to be looking at individual card quality more than how well they work with each other. Of course, even looking at individual card quality, the outlook is not pretty. The set has 3 clunky counterspells, only one of them even close to decent. That would be Clash of Wills, by the way. Bone to Ash and Calculated Dismissal aren't going to win you the pre-release by any means. You also have cards like Days Undoing, Jace's Sanctum, Mizia Meddler, and Talon of the Telepath, either extremely unwieldy or just straight unplayable in the limited format. The one thing I will say for blue, a lot more flying than the other colors, like a lot more. There are 8 cards in the color that either have flying or grant flying, most of them at common, so at least you have that. Plus pseudo removal and Anchor to the Aether, Disperse, and Turn to Frog helps out a little bit, but only a little. Blue really needs to get its crap together. Moving right along to black, the rares and mythics in this color are again super hit or miss. There are some duds, and you'll be super unhappy if you pull Infinite Obliteration, Demonic Pact, Tainted Remedy, or Dark Petition. However, the rest of the rares in the set aren't bad. Definitely more playables than the other colors we've looked at so far. Gitleaf, Winnower, Kothafed, Languish, Priest of the Bloodrite, Graveblade Marauder, and of course Liliana herself. All of these are varying degrees of awesome, and you should be happy to get any of them. That's one of Black's biggest draws this time around. While the misses will hurt, you have a better chance of getting a rare you can use. The rest of the set, not nearly as optimistic about that. We have a distinct lack of both hard and efficient removal. Fleshbag Marauder 2 for 1's yourself, Unholy Hunger is 5 mana, at least it's instant speed, and Cruel Revival is only really good if its condition is met. It is removal though, so you're playing it. The only removal I really like is Reeve's Soul, and that forces you to hit something small. If you're not doing that, then you're paying a lot of mana for removal. In a format that seems to promote massing creatures, that doesn't seem like where you want to be, just saying. Anyways, the rest of the color focuses a lot on the graveyard, either returning stuff to your hand or reanimating creatures. Both are fine, but without any real bombs of its own, I think black is going to make a better support color than a primary one. You'll most likely use this color for Death Touch, Read the Bones, and Reanimate effects. Yay? The red rares in this set are volatile to say the least. Abbot of Carol Keep requires your top deck to be something you can play. Avaricious Dragon makes sure you have no hand, but you do get an extra card per turn and a 4/4 flyer, notoriously good and limited. Chandra is going to require you to chain spells to flip her, or at least to have one spell and get through with an attack. But if she ignites, she'll blow up the board, probably. Embermaw Hellion is one of your least volatile rares, and that it will always be good, so that's something to look forward to. Look, the red rares are interesting, and most of them are going to be quite good, like Pian Kiran Nalaar or the aforementioned Embermaw Hellion. I gotta say, red has pretty consistent rare quality this time around. The only rare I don't want to see is Molten Vortex, and even then, there are situations where this isn't complete trash. The rest of the color is insanely strong, and that's an understatement. Not even talking synergy, the individual card quality is unreal. Just the uncommons alone, there are 6 of them that are better than most of the rares in any color. Acolyte of the Inferno, nuts. Magmatic Insight, hysterical. Ravaging Blaze, Thopter Engineer. These are all bonkers cards and they're all uncommons. You can expect at least a few of these in your seeded pack. Looking past that, the set brings with it a lot of ways to set stuff on fire. Chandra's Fury, Fiery Conclusion, Fiery Impulse, Lightning Javelin. In this removal light set, red seems to be hoarding most of it. If you enjoy killing things, I think red is going to be a little better at it than black this time around. Lastly, the color is just chock full of value creatures. Skyraker Giant, Pricklebore, Majoring Bully. Compare these to the filler creatures from blue for a second. Maritime Guard. Do I need to say anything else? Seriously though, something about red in this set, it's got everything you want. Quality creatures, big threats, efficient removal, combat tricks. I gotta say, red is certainly impressive, to say the absolute least. Last but not least, green. I feel like I can confidently say that this color has the most explosive rares and mythics. If you go with green for the pre-release, you'll probably get an impactful rare. How impactful depends on whatever else you open. The elf sub-theme is nice for Magic in general, but it could be more trouble than it's worth if you don't open enough of them. Same with enchantments. Both Dwynen and Herald of the Pantheon are great cards with enough support. Besides those two and the awkward Great Aurora, everything looks great. Evolutionary Leap lets you get to your bombs. Gaia's Revenge, well, is your bomb. Mana Gorger Hydra will win the game if it isn't removed. Even something bomby like Nissa's Revelation may seem clunky, but you can gain a ton of life and draw a bunch of cards, so it could be worse. Oh, don't forget about Outland Colossus and Woodland Bellower, both crazy strong. Green easily has the most consistent rares out of all the colors. If that matters to you, pick green. The outlook for the rest of the color, not good at all. There's too much of a focus on artifact and enchantment removal. Granted, there are plenty of both in this set overall, that isn't what's gonna win your opponents the game. Their massive creatures will. Most of those creatures will not be Thopters, for the record. As we've come to expect, the color has one real piece of removal. Wild Instinct, 4-mana sorcery that's conditional on your creature winning a fight. Not what I want for my only removal option. One good thing about green, it's the only color that brings true bombs to the table. Rocks Maulers, Sky Snare Spider, and Vastwood Gorger are bigger than most of the rest of the set, not counting random rares here and there, or cards with unique triggers like Deep Sea Terror and Scab Goliath. If you want to consistently play giant creatures, you will have to pick green. So what have we learned? Let's review. White is a color that brings you a ton of small creatures with a lot of support in the form of board suppression. Your goal is to flood the board with your soldiers and overwhelm your opponent's defenses as they struggle to block with their tapped creatures. Blue is, I don't really know what blue's trying to do. Basically, you play flyers and hope no one does anything about it. Seriously, that's blue. Right, okay. Black, geez, you try to draw cards, you put stuff in your graveyard, you bring it back, you do that over and over again. Hopefully you get some of that coveted removal. Your creatures aren't that great, so I don't really know what else to say. What a train wreck. Okay, red. You play red if you want to burn everything around you. Do you like swimming in the ashes of your victims? Play red. Do you like quality creatures and efficient removal? Red is where you want to be. Lastly, green. If you're the kind of player who worries about getting a good pre-release promo, green has your back. Also, if you enjoy gigantic creatures that punch people in the face, green is also a great choice for you. The color does what it always has, finds ways to get mana, play the fatties, forehead meets table, we've been here before. I always say to pick whichever color you want. Play what makes you happy. If you're a blue player, pick blue. If you like black, play black. That should be your highest priority in the pre-release. Have fun. If you can't decide and just want to play what looks strongest on paper, red or white. Seriously. They both have some great rares, nice removal, good ways to control the board, and most importantly, a deep, deep card pool. Both colors are full of independently good commons and uncommons. No synergy needed. They just work. So this time around, I would go with white or red if you have no color allegiance. Easily the most powerful colors. It hurts to say that. Again though, if you're loyal to a color, go with that. I'm still going to play blue. You should still play what you want. I hope this guide was helpful to you, and if you're still having trouble choosing, ask me in the comments. I'll choose for you. Here, we're doing this again. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic Origins information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.